All right, Republicans aren't the only ones saying this whole mess is politically motivated. In a new poll, most Americans also agree. According to CNN, 76% say politics did play a role in the decision to indict Trump. Former Biden White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki at Toomey warning Democrats not to get too excited about tomorrow's arraignment. Watch.
So where does that leave Democrats, and what should they be doing about the indictment news? Let me start with what I don't think you should be doing. As much as you may want to, now is not the time for a mass order of lock 'em up t-shirts and mugs. That's exactly what Trump and his supporters would do. Now is also not the time for Democratic candidates to celebrate, to brag, to predict the outcome of the legal cases. If you can, I'd actually just put your head down and stay out of it for now.
Sounds pretty political to me. Is this really about the rule of law, or just an attempt, a multi-pronged attempt to scuttle Trump's 2024 campaign? Let's break it down with tonight's party panel. We've got the executive editor of Common Sense Society, Chris Bedford, is back. Democrat pollster and co-host of The Five on the Fox News Channel, Jessica Tarlov, and 2020 Libertarian vice presidential candidate and chair of YouAreThePower.net, Spike Cohen. So it's interesting, Chris, because it seems like the former president really does want a fight. He wants a spectacle. So obviously, Democrats playing into that, are they playing into his hands?
I mean, a little bit here. Alvin Bragg, I've been looking to try and find exactly what his motive is, if the guy's playing three-dimensional chess, but I actually just don't think he's that smart. I don't think there's any 3D chess here at all, and he's overplayed his hand here most likely, because right now a lot of the news outlets in this country, a lot of the political people in this country basically have an unspoken promise to each other not to talk about Donald Trump. But here they are putting him absolutely in the center of his own circus again right now, where he'll be the center of attention, and it's going to infuriate his supporters, and it's going to rally support around him. But the Democrats are right also. There's no need for them to chant lock her up. There's no need for them to print T-shirts. That's for people who don't have any power. That's for people who don't have the ability to actually make these arrests, to actually make these prosecutions. A lot of the Democrats and their allies have that power. They're willing to use it. There's no need for T-shirts. They can just do it like we're seeing tomorrow. Or tonight.
Jessica, are you happy or relieved that the grand jury here voted to indict, or do you wish that they would have waited for some of the other cases down the road that might have a little more legal ground to stand on?
Well, all of us can agree that we don't know what's in the indictment, right? So Alvin Bragg may have something in there that none of us are even thinking about. It's rumored that there are over 30 counts, which is definitely more than just he paid off Stormy Daniels to cover up the affair before the election. So we're in mega wait-and-see mode on this. But I have been saying on the air for, well, since Trump Truth Socialed, I guess is what you call it, the verb of it, that he was going to be arrested 2 Tuesdays ago. He was a week early. That I thought that the Georgia case was stronger and that it was something that would make more sense to people across the board. Like, it was something that you could wrap your head around. Election interference is something that we've been talking about now for quite some time, for a couple of years. And now we got from the Washington Post over the weekend that there have been developments in the special counsel investigation, what Jack Smith is finding, that there was actually tampering on the part of the Trump camp after they had been reached out to say, please return the documents. Then you have that interview with Hannity from a few nights ago where Hannity said, well, you wouldn't do something like that. And he goes, well, I would, which kind of sounds like maybe he did. It was quite the moment. Sean's face was fantastic. He's like, oh boy. So I've been consistent on that, but we only have to get till 2:15 tomorrow to find out what's actually in there. And Alvin Bragg, Chris, he's not a big dum-dum. People in these positions,
I think he's running the city into the ground, and I think he should be ashamed of himself, regardless of what he does with this case. His notion of criminal justice is ass backwards, and I hope he fails miserably. And I am not discounting what the former president might have done. Maybe he did break the law. Maybe he's a felon and absolutely should be incarcerated. I don't know any of that because I haven't seen the facts of those other cases. I do know that Alvin Bragg is a horrible person, and what he's doing to this city is unconscionable. So, Spike, it's interesting because what do you make of the polling that people go, yeah, this is totally politically motivated? On one hand, a large number of respondents to that CNN poll, but then on the other hand, they go, yeah, but he should still be indicted. What does that say to you?
It says exactly that. 76% of Americans, according to this poll, said that they believe that this indictment is politically motivated. I tend to agree with them. I think that it probably is entirely politically motivated. Again, we'll find out tomorrow. But 76% of Americans, over 3/4 of Americans, said, yes, this was politically motivated. 60% of them are cool with that. That means one of two things. It means either they're just so sick of Trump that they're okay with him being locked up, even if it's for no good reason, which, remember, in 2020, the GOP had a good year overall. They won in the House. They gained in the House. They gained in the Senate. They gained in state legislative houses and in governor's mansions. They won in local races. But Trump lost. So it could be that the American people are sick of Trump. The other alternative is that the American people have reached a point of divisiveness in this country that they're perfectly fine with on a bipartisan level with politically motivated indictments of high-level political figures. And as unfortunate as that would be, if that's the case, then maybe we're going to end up with some kind of exchange program. Maybe the Democrats get to lock up Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell, and the Republicans get to lock up Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and Gavin Newsom, and maybe the Libertarians get to lock up Anthony Fauci. I mean, what we really don't know until we see it